Buddy, welcome to the swamp. Welcome to Sibyl. And here's a little preview. And there you go. That's my favorite Mardi Gras song. So
Yeah.
I found a clip of it, and so far YouTube hasn't dinged me for it yet. So I do any other Mardi Gras song, and I'll get dinged with a copyright claim, So, but for that one, no, not yet. Knock on wood, I won't get that. It's Mardi Gras weekend. I got my beads on. I got my Mardi Gras shirt on.
Oh, right. It's Mardi Gras down there?
Yeah, it's Mardi Gras Tuesday.
All right. I love it.
This is Mardi Gras weekend. All the parades, the balls, all the stuff is happening this weekend all the way through till Tuesday night.
Fun.
Everybody goes into the next day for Valentine's Day is the start of Lent. So everybody's like hungover and nobody wants to talk to anybody.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Well, nobody's here yet, but that's okay. We're here. That's all that counts. So like to introduce.
They're probably at the Mardi Gras. Well, they can watch us on re-record.
There you go. And I didn't realize, but Linda G just popped on too live. So I was like, oh God, we're up against her.
Oh, well, we'll have to be a rebroadcast.
Yeah, so that's cool. The people that aren't here, they'll catch a replay. Hi, Martha. Look, somebody showed up. That's fantastic.
Yeah, but this is a spiritual show about the elemental guides and the nature spirits.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to this.
The leprechauns, the fairies. This will be fun.
I think most people know Sibyl, but if you don't, this is Sibyl Harmony, and she is one plugged in lady. She knows what she's talking about. And I'm excited to have her on. And we're gonna, like she said, we're gonna be talking about elementals and native spirit and just nature spirits and just kind of go from there. If you have a question, kind of keep it in the frame of the topic and put it all in caps, and so I don't miss it. And we'll go from there. But Sibyl, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started, how long have you been doing this, what led you in this direction, all that good fun stuff.
Okay. Well, first I wanted to say this will come out on my channel. When you send it to me, I'll put it out during the middle of the week. And so that'll get plenty of people on there. So I'll do that. As soon as you send it I usually put out a spiritual video in the middle of the week.
But so
about me, what?
I was saying hi to Patricia and Rose.
Yeah. Okay. So me, I started well, as a child, I love this topic because as a child, I would see and hear the nature spirits, the elementals. And I was lucky enough to grow up in a time of Disney where you had all the, the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and you had all the I was before the Mermaid, the Littlest Mermaid and all that, but all those Disney movies where they had all those magical characters. And I grew up in a magical world. And I also now know that I've had past lives in Lemuria, and Lemuria was a nature-based, feminine-based culture that was very in balance with the earth, the nature spirits, the elementals, the whales, the dolphins, the water creatures, plus the land creatures. And I've also now know that I've had past lives as a shaman where I worked with wolves, or some woman who lived out in in the forest with wolves, if you want to call me a shaman. But so
that works.
So as a child, I would go out, and as soon as I got home from school, I'd be shoes off. I was in the California hills. I grew up, and I'd be shoes off, and I'd be outside till it was dark, till they called me in for dinner, and then I'd run back out again, because I would see them like in my mind's eye. I would see them because nature spirits are etheric. And I'll explain, if I remember, why later. They're in etheric form. They used to be here in physical form. Some people believe they were here in physical form before the time of the war that they had with the Gauls, where they lost and the Gauls captured them and said, you can either go into spirit form or we'll kill you. And they chose to go into spirit form. So they are they aren't in physical form. But where did all those stories come from of ships with mermaids and leprechauns? And now some people say they can see, like in Ireland, when you talk to the Irish, they know they're there. Native American and indigenous cultures know about the nature spirits, that every plant, every flower, every animal has a spirit guide. And so there's many around here where I am. Many of the trees are Native American spirits, because it's only been about 100 years since they've been wiped out. They've been here for, thousands of years, the Native Americans. So anyway, well, although I do have an apple tree in my backyard that's a blonde-haired European, I can see the spirit of the apple tree. But so all plants, animals, flowers. I particularly, as a child, I liked the flowers, the little fuchsias that looked like ballerina dancers to me. They would have that energy around them. And the nature spirits, they love to, the ones that I connected with, children can see them. And the reason why children can see them is because when you believe in them, and when you're open-hearted and lighthearted and playful and fun, they'll feel more like they want to connect with you. That if you don't believe in them, you can hurt them, and so they won't come around. And when I used to tell, like even 20 years or even 10 years ago, I used to tell people about this, and people would kind of roll their eyes and go, "Oh,
yeah.
What's wrong with you?" Now people are more open to that, and so so when you're lighthearted and playful, they come around more. They're very silly. They love humor. Like one might be like, they can see what you do too. Like I would be getting dressed for an appointment and I couldn't find the right shoe or the right outfit or something. And they thought it was a funny joke to start running around in a circle going, I'm late, with one shoe on and a dress on inside out or something, making fun of the humans. I'm late. So things like that. But when my father remarried, as I was already an adult by then, he had an outdoor wedding and they had this really happy fiddle music playing. And around that property, they had a lavender farm and a vineyard. And so the new stepmother, she liked to work with the bees and was very nature based and stuff. So for whatever reason, there were all these orbs there. There were just nature. They were all like, and when they played the music at the wedding, you could see them. And when we filmed it, they were all dancing. Oh, you have Native American spirits?
This is when I lived in Phoenix. This was done by a native artist there in the Phoenix area on the reservation, and the one of the local tribes did a calendar one year, and I was a regular in their cigarette store. I would always go in and buy my cigarettes there because it was cheaper, but plus they were all so nice. It was nice to go in and sit and talk to them and whatnot. And I went in one time and they were like, oh, we got calendars for our good customers, And so they gave me a calendar. And when I got home and went through it, this picture, and this was before I accepted the fact that I was psychic, and that I was, I had kept it hidden for so long that I was just at the very beginning stages of saying, okay, there's something more, And as I flipped through the calendar, this picture reached out and just grabbed me by the throat. And I very clearly heard in my head, we're your guides. I didn't know what that meant.
Wow.
I didn't know what guides, what is that? But I just knew that the picture was important and I had to take care of it. And my mother knew that, and she took the picture and had it matted and framed for me in this huge frame. It's a big frame up on the wall. It's the first thing I see in the morning, last thing I see at night are my guides. But yeah, I mean, it just there's so much in the picture. When you were talking about, the Native guides and Native American guides, I wanted to pop that in real quick and let everybody see it. But that's I mean, you can ask my family whenever we move. That's like the first question out of my mouth is, where are my guides? Where's my picture?
Yeah.
They know that's first. And so anyway, I interrupted you. I do apologize.
No, that's great. No, thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So there are different realms of where souls come from and that are connected with who we are as a soul and who our guides are. And so I felt like this show was very fun, and I felt like a connection to the nature spirits, but I also felt that you're telling me that you're connected to shamanic healing, the Native American traditions and guides.
Cherokee. Yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay. So
yeah.
I am part Cherokee too, a little bit in my background, but because my relatives also came over on the Mayflower, they took the Cherokee part and they buried it where no one would ever find it. And because you can't be sitting in the Mayflower Club with your little white gloves on having tea if you have
Native blood. Well,
yeah.
my
So
Cherokee blood
like that.
Didn't come into the family until my great-great-grandmother. During when they were being marched across the country.
Yeah, the Trail of Tears. Yeah.
The Trail of Tears.
I felt
and my
connected.
great-great-grandfather saw this woman, and I don't know if he just asked her to marry him or if her father sold him to him. I don't know what the circumstances. It was never discussed. All I know is we were blue-eyed blondes until she came along. And that's when the brunettes showed up. But we're Welsh, Scots, Irish, French, Dutch, English, and Cherokee.
Oh my God, I think you're my relative, except that we don't have the past name, because that's where I'm Welsh. There was some English and except for maybe the Irish. Although I'm very connected to Scotland. I feel just a strong affinity for Scotland and Celtic tradition. And so they also believe in the elementals. But interesting that you're talking about the Native American and the shamans, because the medicine people, the shamans, the medicine women are very much connected to the elementals because they were in nature. They knew how to live in harmony with nature and spirit. And so when I first started doing this work, I started by walking out into nature. And before the show started, you were telling me about how you love to connect with nature, right?
Say that again.
You were saying how you love to be out and feel connected or at peace when you're in nature.
I have to go outside every day.
Yeah.
If I want to get a good nap or rejuvenation through sleep, I have to go outside to do it.
Yeah.
I don't sleep as well inside as I do. I go outside. I can kick back in a chair I'm out in 5 minutes, and I will sleep for hours outside. And it's just more, I feel safer outside in nature than I do inside away from nature.
Wow. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, grew up here in the deep South, during the week, I was a city girl. We lived in the city. And on the weekends, I was a country girl because I would go with my grandfather out to his parents' place. And they had this huge farm. And we would go out on the weekends and work the farm. All the kids, grandkids, great grandkids, that kind of stuff. And so I kind of had my foot in both worlds. Animals have always taken to me.
Yeah.
My brother is the same way. My son's the same way. They just naturally, no issues will come to any of us. And I enjoy being with animals more than people most times because animals don't make me feel stupid sometimes. They're just there. They just do their thing. And
they don't judge us.
Right. They just accept you for who you are, as you are. They take right up with you. Let's say a quick hello to Susan, Rose, Mandy, Magical Mermaid, Spirits Beyond the Stars, adore, and Patricia, and okay, I think that's everybody that's popped in since we got started.
Great.
And I like to say hello to everybody because it makes them feel good.
Yeah.
When you acknowledge it,
I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
And but yeah, I love it. In our family, it's all the women have the gift, as it was always called.
Okay.
I don't think any of us have the same one. We all have different variations. But when I was little, like around 4 or 5, I can remember talking to God, is who I called it.
Okay.
A deep male voice, think Darth Vader voice, James Earl Jones's voice.
Okay.
And this deep voice would talk to me and I would talk back. And somebody would walk by the room and be like, "Who are you talking to?" I'd say, "God." They'd say, "Oh, okay." And it was like it wasn't made a big deal. Or I wasn't accused of making something up or lying.
I love
I
that.
didn't understand why nobody else heard him. I heard him clear as a bell. And then when I was 9, we went from Texas to Florida and to go see family. And we arrived in the middle of the night. And when I walked through the front door, first words out of my mouth was, "Oh, I've been here before." And everybody was like, "No, we've never been here before. We're in Florida, we've never been here." I'm like, "Oh no, I've been here before." And I proceeded to name every room in the house, whose room it was, what was in each room, complete descriptions of everything in the house. And I remember my mother just looking at me and going, "Oh, you have the gift." And that was it.
Wow.
That was the only thing said. It was never discussed.
Oh my God.
It was never explained. I found out later that her gift was she would get visions of people and how they would die. She would get a vision of someone dying. Usually like a couple of days before it would happen. And it so upset her that she just pretty much tried to ignore it. She didn't deal well with it. And so we never really discussed it, growing up. But I just knew I was a little different. And okay, the family all seemed to think no big deal. When I was about 12, I discovered I could go out of my body and float on the ceiling and look at myself sleeping in the bed. But I was always afraid to leave the room because I was afraid I'd get lost. And I was like, if I leave and I get lost, what's going to happen to me laying in the bed? And so I never left. I would stay right there. But it was kind of cool just to float on the ceiling for a while. And then I'd go back in my body. So, and then
that happened when you were asleep?
No, before I would go to sleep.
Oh, before you would go to sleep, you would pop out of your body?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's quite a task.
lay down and I would just kind of relax.
Uh-huh.
And the first time it happened, it just kind of just happened. And I was like, whoa, what is
Wow.
this?
Uh-huh.
And then after that, I realized I could lay down and I could just think about it. I want to hang out on the ceiling. And I would pop out and hang out on the ceiling and I'd be asleep in the bed below. By that point, I'd be asleep. Or
Wow.
I looked asleep anyway, I should say,
Mhm.
because my essence was up on the ceiling. But it was always just, hi, Clarence. Hi, Teresa. It was always, it as I got a little older, I got more embarrassed about it and didn't want to be called a freak, and so
Oh, yeah.
I pretended it didn't exist. I shoved it
Oh,
in the
yeah.
closet
Yeah.
and ignored it. And it wasn't until, throughout my life, it would kind of poke its head out every now and again and go, hey, we're still here,
Uh-huh.
we haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
And then after my husband died,
Oh.
and I went to Phoenix, that's when it started coming back to me. That's when
Oh, wow.
that's when the picture showed up in my life. And
The
I was like,
pictures?
the picture that I showed, my
Right,
guy,
right. Yeah.
that's when the picture arrived in my life.
Uh-huh.
And it just started kind of pushing back in at that point. And then years later, down the road, I've moved back to Louisiana, take care of my mom who had dementia. And when she passed in June, COVID hit in January, February.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so I was locked up in the house. I couldn't go anywhere. And I was not in a very good place emotionally, physically, spiritually. And that's when I stumbled into this community. And within about a month or two, I had people saying, you're psychic, right? You're a reader, right? And I'm like, no, I'm not. They're like, yeah, you are. And it was Angela Cardamancy Mesquite who messaged me one day and said, send me your address. You need to learn to read cards. And she sent me tarot cards. And so I would sit and watch the shows and I'd throw the cards with them, know.
Yeah.
And it just took a while before I got brave enough to do a channel.
Wow. What a great story. Yeah. So you're just like a natural. You're just like a natural born. I believe that everyone has psychic abilities because we all can think and feel. I think some people just don't realize how they're connecting and they don't want to be conscious. And if you don't want to be, and you don't want to be in that world, and you're not really attuned, you don't have running in your family or a past life with doing that, then you can just block it out. But I think that people are more and more open, but you're just to psychics or to abilities or to the supernatural or to healing. But you're just a natural. You barely got any training at all. And you're just like right out there doing it. Whereas
it was about a year ago when the I'm going blank on the damn word now. Whenever you can hear and see spirits, dead people. And I started picking that mediumship. Thank you. The word just went out of my head. And so that's been this past year trying to learn how to control that, because it's either like a full-fledged marching band coming through my head or it's nothing. I don't have control over it yet. And about 2 months ago, I started with the visions.
Oh, okay. Clairvoyance. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's Mama's gift, not mine. So I guess she's passed it down to me now.
Well, a lot of people have that gift, but some people think if you are a psychic, you have to see stuff or you have to hear things. But a lot of information comes for us through our feelings and our thoughts.
Yeah.
And that's
I'll
why
just
I
know
like.
something.
So
Yeah.
I'm person that I saw spirit, I had experiences, and then I just shut it off and went about my life. And then when somewhere in my 40s, when I'm like, my life isn't really working very well.
I was
And
in my
after
40s.
a divorce, I was like, okay, why am I here and who am I? And then I started doing trainings. And so I'm a person who did a lot of training, but part of that is because I'm meant to be a teacher, and I needed to, when I watch teachers, how they teach, then it taught me how. So I have a lot of teachings and information, whereas you are just a natural.
And we could be
I like
twins.
that better, because sometimes
I
you're.
was in my 40s when it started happening to me. And
Oh, okay.
and
All right. So we have a lot
I
of
was
similarities.
at that point where, my husband had died, and I was like, what do I want? Who am I? What do I want to do with myself? Because
Yeah.
I
Well,
didn't
that's
know.
what happens. The awakening, we're going through a shift in consciousness where
Yeah.
people are getting their power back. And we used to have, in the times of Lemuria, in the old time of the goddess, in the times of the shamans and the medicine people and the natives, where they had their natural abilities. And there were some people who were more gifted and had that specific role in their tribe or their community. But now it's like we're all waking up and we're all tuning into, because we have natural abilities, and we've just kind of been disempowered and brainwashed. And that's why you hear all this woke stuff, like they don't want you woke, because they don't want you using your intuition in your brain to figure out, oh, I'm not going to be controlled by fear. Oh, I'm not, and so anyway, here we have a question.
No, it's just she's just making a statement. As
Okay.
she still astral travels in my sleep. So
yeah. So some people get dreams. And I really found that I opened up when I do meditation. So now I teach that. I teach people how to connect with their guides, how to connect with their guidance. But primarily, I'm a healer. I teach healing and spiritual development.
right.
And I was watching people on TV doing cards, and all this political stuff was. I started watching when Obama was on there, because I felt like there's some reason I'm supposed to be watching this, and I felt like I was watching history happen. And then when 45 got in there, I was like, oh my God. And I was getting a lot of things that other readers were getting. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll contribute. I'll show up. I live in a house that was built in 1909, and it was vacant. The family here left during World War II. All the men went to service, and all the women went down to San Francisco and worked in the bomb factories. And I felt like they did that. I need to do something too. And so this is my contribution. But I really love doing spiritual work, helping people to wake up and connect with their guides. And so that's kind of what I'm doing here. But so if people.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I know with the shaman stuff, when Danny Bathrobe Tarot started teaching some of his shaman classes, I immediately just felt, okay, that's you need to take that. That's what you're supposed to do. So every time he has a class, whether if it's a series of classes or just one class, that he'll do, I'm signed up, and
well, I teach classes too. I teach classes in healing and in developing psychic abilities.
Oh, cool.
And I also, what was it that I was going to say? I wanted to say that the shamans and the medicine women and the earth-based communities, like the Native Americans, were also very connected to the elementals, the nature spirits. And so I call that the ascended master realm of people like Danny Shea. Did you say his name? People like that. These are people who are part of the master souls, and you may be a part of that realm too, because you're so connected with these elementals and these Native American spirits. And so this soul realm is very much connected to the elemental realms. At first, when I would go around teachers, they would say, fairies, fairies. But I would be like, But I'm an older soul, so I don't get it. Why are you saying I'm with the fairies when I could see the fairies and the nature spirits and the tree spirits and all that, especially after I started meditating. But then I was able to connect with, I even believe Jesus, who is a part of the ascended, these are ascended masters,
absolutely,
people who have walked this earth in a physical body, who have been coming here for many lifetimes or here thousands of years ago and that are back now. We're definitely working with the nature spirits. Mary Magdalena, which I work with. Yeah, Mary, the Isis, from the Temple of Isis, the mystery schools. So that's kind of what I feel like you have a connection there. When I said that, your aura just lit up with the mystery schools. And so I feel like you're connected to this realm, and we work really well with the nature spirits.
I know I had a starseed report done about a year ago.
Okay.
You know, where they tell you like what planets you come from and whatnot. And you know, I don't know how they figure it, but they're able to map going back to what, like if you're Lemurian or if you're Palladian or something like that.
Yeah.
And when I got my report back, all of that area was blank on my report. And when I asked, well, there's nothing there, it's blank. And the response I got was, oh, well, you're from the before time. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? And she said, you're from before. I said, before what? She said, before everything. I said, before everything what? She says,
yeah,
before it all got created, you were there. You were part of what created all of this.
That's an old soul. Yeah.
That's a very old soul. I had a palm reading done 15, almost 20 years ago. And the first thing she said was, I've never seen such an old soul. She says, you have so many lifelines on your hand. I can't count. So they just crisscross each other. I was like, I just thought they were wrinkled, you know. And she's like, oh no, they tell a story.
Yeah.
And then I just had an Akashic records reading done. And what came through was they kept addressing me as the ancient one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I am. I'm back from the time I remember my lifetimes in Lemuria. I just feel, and I remember them, and Atlantis, yes, but I'm from back then. And it's because I have this connection with the nature spirits. Now, the Lemurians were from the Pleiadians. They were the early star seeds. So how do people know? Am I an ascended master? Am I connected to the elementals? Am I a star seed? Am I an angel? Well, there's some basic things that you can know about that. And one way to know is that ascended masters like yourself, they have either very intense or compassionate eyes. So look at your eyes. But why are they intense or compassionate? Because they've been here. They've seen a lot for a long time.
Yeah.
They have sometimes very big hearts. And because they've experienced a lot, and their hearts can be broken. Sometimes we're sad because of what's happened. The elementals are furious about what we've done to this planet.
No, I don't blame them.
Yeah. So the ascended masters have this wisdom. They're also good with groups or being on a show and helping a lot of people, leading people and guiding people, not in an egotistical way, but in a way where you're really of service. We're about service. And the ascended masters, how you know you're one, here's the rule. If there's a museum and there's a rope that you could walk up to the museum, but there's a rope across there saying, don't go this way. You have to walk all the way around. The elemental will say, we can break the rules. It'll be fun. Let's give it a try. And they can't tell us what to do. So the elementals will try to go.
I hear that voice all the time.
They're the life of the party. They're the magicians, the artists, the people who work with nature spirits. They're the rebels. They're partiers. They're sometimes addicts or alcoholics. They're at the Mardi Gras right now, the ones that are having the best fun. they're they're movie stars, they're rock stars, they're people who are out in front having fun, and they like to break the rules. They're the rebels. Okay. So they could be activists too, earth activists standing on the front line, with a tree. You can't.
See, that's what I grew up with in the middle of the civil rights movement here in the South.
Okay.
My mother was a marcher, and I went with her.
So was we have so many things in common. So
I know
it's eerie. The ascended masters realm, what will they say when they come up to the rope? They'll go, I'll break the rules. I won't go around only if I know that it's the best way. Not because we can break the rules and it's fun, because I know, I just have a knowing that that's not going to work. Or, okay, we'll try that. But if it doesn't work, then we're going to break the rules and go over the rope, because we follow the rules when they make sense, because we have our own power. We have our own knowing.
Yeah.
Now, if you're an earth angel realm, then you will never cross the rope. That's how you know you're an earth angel, because the angels always follow the rules. They were not going to break the rule. They will walk around because they're rule followers. And they want everyone to be happy and everything to be nice. And so they're going to walk all the way around because they don't break the rules. So that's how you know if you're an angel realm. And then the star seeds, I don't know, star seeds, they might be at a Star Trek museum.
I'm a big Star Trek fan.
Planets, or looking up at the stars saying, I don't belong here. Why am I in this weird place with these people? We have that, but it's from a long time ago, because we may have had many lifetimes here, because where are we from? We're all from somewhere, right?
Right. Just like when I had my palms read. I mean, it was the first time anybody told me anything like that.
Uh-huh.
And she was, she kept commenting on how old my soul was. And then I had been here repeatedly. And at the time, I remember asking her, well, what do I keep screwing up that I have to keep coming back? And she's like, no. She says, you're coming back because you're teaching. I'm like, but I'm not a teacher. And she's like,
yeah,
you are. You're just not a regular teacher like you think. You teach in other ways. And I was like, okay, so, and this was all, I didn't understand any of it at that point in time. And I think she realized it, so she kind of let it go from that point. And then it wasn't until I found this community that I started, asking questions and talking to others. And it's like,
mm-hmm.
What does this mean? Yeah. Why is this happening? How do I deal with this? And BJ said, born to break rules.
Marching to my own drum. Yep, there you go.
I'm probably more of the angel class, because I'm the one that'll go walk around so I don't create a disturbance.
Okay. Well, so you can be a mystic angel, which is a blend. You can be a blend. And since you're an old soul, I mean, I'm not very good at following the rules. I can't be corrupted. I'm very ethical in some ways, but I can be a real rebel. No, I don't care what you say. I know this is right, and I'm going to do, which is more like an old soul. But you're a teacher, so look at where you are. You have a platform, and you're out here. Oh, yeah, teaching by example and by what the programs that you're sharing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and I'm getting ready to start a class up too in about another month.
You're going to start a class?
Yeah.
Really? On what?
Just on basic tarot cards, just understanding the cards.
Right. Okay.
I felt the call to do that, and it was like, well, I don't know what would I teach? I'm not a teacher, and it just very clearly just came to me. They said, teach what you wish someone was there to teach you when you first got started.
Right.
You got that first deck of cards, what confused you the most? What kind of threw you on that? And so I thought, okay, that makes sense, because there's a lot of people out there that are very intimidated because they don't know, they've never had tarot cards or oracle cards or anything like that. and they don't know how to, they listen to people who've been reading for 30 years and think, I can never do that. That's what I thought in the beginning. But I kept at it, and before it started kind of clicking and making sense to me.
Yeah.
And it just takes a little time. And I thought, well, maybe if I do like a basic training, just a basic class, just, these are the court cards, these are the pip cards, these are the major arcana. Why are they different? What is the significance when they show up in a draw? That kind of thing.
Yeah, and go ahead. It's amazing. When I first got cards, I would just pull cards for myself every morning. And it really helped give me, because you can't always have a psychic or somebody there every minute that you're trying to, and I was trying to figure stuff out, and it helped me. I would just pull 3 cards, show me 3 cards for the day. And I was like, oh, okay. And it would give me a framework.
Yeah.
The other thing I would do is I would go and take walks in nature. And I think you're a person who, you told me you love to be out in nature.
Yeah, I love to be outside.
Yeah. So I would go and walk, and I would look up online, or I would get all these different cards, medicine cards or spirit cards or whatever, that had different animals or plants on them. And I would have an issue, and I would take a walk. And by the end of the walk, I would have been drawn to certain plants, or I'd see a spirit, or a bird would come close to me, and I'd be like, I get it. Okay. And then by the end of the walk, like a 40-minute walk or a half an hour, and even an hour walk, I would then be clear, and the cards made sense to me. Or then I started seeing, and that's the way the old medicine women and the shamans used to do it. They would walk, they were out in nature. So they would connect with the animals and the spirits, because animals and spirits they're naturally psychic. They're just attuned to where we're kind of, all children are psychic, but we get programmed out of it by age 7, most of us, and we don't want to be weird or different if we have abilities, so we just shut it down. But
cool.
Yeah, I love the way that you, I mean, those are, I've done card reading classes too. I mean, I've attended them, and they were really helpful. So sounds like a really cool class.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Martha. Martha had to go. She
okay.
got called away.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yes. Patricia had a question.
Okay.
And she wanted to know if she was connected to any elementals or nature spirits, and if so, which ones?
Are you going to answer that? Or do you want me to answer that?
You go ahead and answer. I'm gonna. You go for it, and I'm gonna pull a card.
Okay. I'm gonna pull some cards too. And what is her? Yeah, I do see. I see connected to. So you're talking about your soul before the people, before we were here. And that's when we were in the elements, the elemental energies of water, wood, fire, earth, and crystals or metal. And so I feel like she was connected to the fire realm. This is a fire energy and sunflower energy of the Queen of Wands. And I'm seeing an element. Is she connected to a spirit or any? Does she have? Is that what she's asking? Does she have a guide?
Yeah, it looks like what she's asking for is are there any elementals or nature spirits that are like, I guess, working through her? When you say connected, that would be my
I'm feeling
interpretation of that.
Okay.
Let's see what I got here. Okay.
I'm feeling the flower spirits with her. So flower fairies are very advanced nature spirits. Okay. So they're talking to me about financial healing. And they're saying that your money struggles are a part of the past. Be open to receiving, to new avenues of receiving, or all avenues of receiving. And you're being provided for in every way. So I got the tiger lily, financial abundance. And I wanted to mention this. So this is for everybody, not just Patricia or everybody who is that the nature spirits help us to, they're the bankers, the manifestors. And when angels don't require anything, or ascended masters, you could say thank you. But the elementals, they want an offering. They're closer to our realm. So they want something. If you make an offering of something shiny or something sweet, if you put out chocolate, make sure a dog doesn't get it because they can't have chocolate. But
Right.
if you put something out sweet, like once mine asked me for a cup of tea in this fancy cup, or they asked me for a beer, I'm like, okay. So I put out a beer. And so if you go somewhere in nature and go to the spirits and say, please help me with abundance, and then make an offering, like a shiny coin or a little rock or something that's pretty. So you're making an offering and you're asking them, help me with my business, or help me to pay these bills. And so that's what I'm getting for Patricia with this financial abundance, is to connect with the nature spirits and ask them to assist you, and then be ready to receive.
Okay. Very good. Well, I pulled for you the starfish spirit.
Oh.
It says open to infinite possibility. And what it talks about, it says this is a very fortunate sign that starfish spirit urges you to stretch past the limits of your everyday perception and comfort zone, to dream of bigger things and imagine with even greater hope and faith. For miraculous potential is shining down on you. Feel it, bask in it, and open yourself to be filled with inspiration. It's saying, let go of the rigid beliefs you may have and what's possible, and open your heart to what is truly available to you. So it doesn't tell me what spirit or what elemental is attached to you, but I feel very strongly that it's definitely a nature type spirit is what I'm picking up. Something that helps you to plug in a way that other people don't understand. And I did it for years before I even realized that that's what I was doing, but yeah, that's what I'm getting for you, Patricia. So I hope that helps. Does anybody else have a question to deal with elementals or nature spirits, or just a draw from one of our oracle decks?
Oh, I have some questions here from on my community page.
Oh, awesome.
And let's see here. So I am getting that somebody would really benefit from possum energy. So this is the medicine cards, and possum energy is possums play dead and act. Yeah. So if you have a nosy neighbor or a pushy salesman, acting as if you don't care, and acting if somebody's bothering you, acting as if, oh, that doesn't bother me. And then they won't get a charge out of, wow, I really pushed her buttons. And you can just kind of like transmute the energy by just playing possum. Possums play dead. So that's their medicine. Where have we? I have these spiritual questions here. Oh, this Jen says, hello, Sibyl. Days after my mom passed away, I was pulling into a grocery store parking lot. I parked up and there was a car pulling out right in front of me. I looked at the driver's seat and I swear to you, it was my mother. She looked at me and poof, was gone. This to me is this me in my mental state at the time when she passed 4 years ago? Thank you so much. I actually feel like this was your mother popping in to let you know that she's okay and that there is a spirit world. And of course you were in grief, and yes, you were in the state of grief, but I feel like that's your mom just letting you know, hey, connecting with you. So they connect with us to let us know that they're really somewhere else. They're really okay. And usually, to me, whenever a loved one passes, I get a message from them, or they show up in a bird or a butterfly, or dog pets will share their bodies with other animals, maybe not with people, but I definitely feel like that was your mother. And I have some more here. I have a couple others. Let's see. Oh, do you have one, or do you want me to go?
Yes, I have one. I pulled for her. I pulled for that question. It's from the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms, and it says the word Lord, and what that is talking about is this rules communication and is an ally for you. It lets you know what positive interactions can be expected. You'll only get positive words and praises from this spirit, from this guide, I guess you could say. It's a reminder of the laws of abundance and praise. When you bless the world, it blesses you back. When you say affirming, supportive words, they carry an energy that returns to you in physical form. It's important to remember that each of us has power and will resonate with the universe. It's part of our job is to seek the reflection to manifest that goes with us, because we're all at different levels. We're all looking for different things. It says, we respond to praise when people, say nice things to us, praise us, thank us, that kind of thing. It makes you feel good. Unfortunately, we tend to believe the negative more than we believe the positive. But it's when someone says, oh, thank you for your help, or oh, you're so smart, or oh, that, the way you explained it, it really makes sense to me now. That's part of your gift of being able to reach out to others and let them know exactly what it is they're seeking to find. And it makes a big difference to them, because now they understand what those steps are. Be very thankful. Not everybody has that ability to be able to just communicate to folks and say, okay, this is what I'm feeling, or this is what I'm seeing, or, this is what came in when I meditated. I know I'm learning to meditate better. That's always been my weakest point, because I can't get my brain to shut up. But doing that, even if it's just for a couple of minutes a day, can make a big difference in how that day goes. And there are a lot of really good readers out in our community that do guided meditations and post them up on their pages. So there's a bunch you can go to and look up some of their guided meditations to help walk you through different areas that you feel like you need help with. Sibyl, do you do guided meditations?
I do. Yeah.
See, so we have Sibyl. There's Arthur, Ease Your Mind. He does guided meditations. Colleen the Cool Crone, she does guided meditations. There's so many that I'm sure, I'm forgetting a whole bunch, but those are the three that pop into my head right away. But yeah, it's just telling you that you have the ability to communicate with people on a level that helps them truly understand what it is they're seeking. And that's a pretty awesome gift to have. It really is. And to pop back to Patricia for just a minute, she said, "Thank you both. And do I need to be in nature if I need help from them? Do I leave an offering?" Yes and no to that. Both.
If you want to, it's up to you.
You know, yeah. If you feel led to offer a gift to them or make a small little altar and make an offering to them, then do it.
Yeah. The higher world never told you what to do. They offer a suggestion.
Right.
And that's what I'm doing. I'm just looking
and
at
if
energy.
Walking in nature fills your soul, makes you happy, makes you feel carefree, then go out into nature. Some people are completely uncomfortable out in nature. They no, it's not for them. And that's okay too. They respond to stimuli in different areas,
Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to be.
You don't have to go outside.
Or you have
some
allergies.
of us just feel like we can't breathe if we don't go outside. Yeah.
I have one more question here, and then I'm going to have to wrap it up.
Yep. So, yeah, we're at 55 minutes. So.
Sheila Sanders is asking her adopted son, Kuo Kevin. I can't. Well, I don't understand the name, but Kuo Kevin. I'm going to call him Kevin. Was always in trouble. She did help him many times until she stopped. She has not seen him for 3 years. He is in her prayers. She wants to know if he is fine. Thank you so much. I will put my full trust in you. Thank you again.
What is his name again?
Her name is Sheila, and the adopted son is Kevin. And I'm getting, what I'm getting for Kevin is that I feel like he came in with some issues that he is dealing with, and that he is going to get better, but I don't feel like it gets resolved for a while. I don't feel like sometimes a soul comes in to teach us about our boundaries so we can love them and guide them, but also we may feel that I did that at a time of helping my grandson. And he was troubled because the stepmother did not like him and kicked him out. So I let him move in here, and I kept saying, this is really hard. And he's already 16. His mother left him on the front porch one day, and she was doing drugs and never came back. So, I mean, it was hard. And I'm like, Jesus, this is hard. How do I do this? Walk me through this. And he kept saying, you can do this. You're building a soul. You can do this. And that person has free will, and he's going to make his own choices, that soul of my grandson. And so I said, okay, well, this is hard, but I'm going to do it because you told me to do it, and I love him and I want to help him. And then one day I'm like, okay, I was walking in nature because it was getting hard. And I'm like, okay, this is really hard, and I need you to show me what to do. I do not know how to help this kid. And so this kid, he made some bad choices, started drinking a lot, and to a point where it was dangerous. And Jesus told me, you've done all you can do. It's time for your paths to separate. And I was like, no, I know, I don't want to. Why? I was like, I was upset. Okay. And 2 weeks after that, he ended up leaving through a circumstance of events of things that happened. And now he's doing so much better. But that needed to happen as a natural consequence of him being out of alignment with himself. I'm like, you're not going to treat me this way, and you're not going to treat yourself this way. And I love you enough to tell you that this is time for it to change. And now he's doing better. And this is why I'm seeing with your son, I don't feel like this is resolving really soon, but I do see in the future that he will become a very productive member of society, that he will be able to become educated, to grow spiritually. And this is ahead in the future. But right now, I feel like he's going through some stuff. And I'm sorry to tell you this, but I have to be honest, but this is actually a good thing, because this is why his soul came in, to go through this growth. And you have done a beautiful job. And the fact that you are continuing to pray for him, all prayers heard, maybe not yet answered, but you send out this vibration. And when the time is right, he will be healed. He will turn around as a soul. It could, for some people, even be in another lifetime. But you have done an amazing job taking in this child and loving him. And that relationship and that energy is always there, whether he's troubled or not. But I do see a good outcome here.
Very good. Yeah, it's I mean, I just had the one son, and he had several of his friends. His friends always wanted to come hang out at our house. You know, he was like the poor kid amidst a bunch of rich kids that he was friends with. It was like their houses, they had all the stuff, the pools, the big stereo systems, the pool tables, the swimming pool, all that kind of stuff. And we didn't have any of that stuff at our house, but they wanted to come hang at our house with us. And there were times, especially during his high school years, he had several of his friends that would just show up. And we'd be like, well, you know, he's not home right now. And they'd be, okay, well, can I just come hang out with you then? And my husband and I would be like, yeah, sure. We're just watching TV or watching a movie. And they would just come and hang out with us because that's where they felt loved, you know. We didn't try to judge any of them. We just accepted them where they were. And, you know, my son is still, I mean, he just turned 40 and he's still good friends with quite a few of them that, you know, he grew up with in school that, who are now parents themselves, you know. So it, when you're willing to accept someone from where they're coming from their point of reference, you open doors that would in some ways never get opened, because for the first time they'll feel like they're being heard. You know, you're opening up that cage door and saying, you can fly away, you're free, you do what feels right for you. And when you accept them just as they are, they will come back, because eventually one day it will cycle around them and they'll realize, because of what you offered in giving them that freedom to make their own choices,
Yeah,
that they can come back to you now and say, thank you for what you did. You know, thank you for allowing me to make mistakes and learn from them, because that's how we learn our lessons, is from the mistakes we make. And so yeah, it
beautiful.
just gotta meet people where they are.
Love that.
You know, and most of us are empaths. We feel it already anyway. We know when they're hurting. We know when they're upset. We can feel it. And so part of that gift is allowing yourself to feel it, but keeping enough of a block up that it doesn't overwhelm you. And that takes time. That takes time to kind of learn how to navigate that. And hi Arlene, hi Sylvia. And I don't have any other questions. If you have anything else,
No, I'm gonna have to. I have a
an hour, and I know
this
you've
has
got
been
to
amazing.
go.
I love this.
This is great,
Yeah.
and you're welcome back anytime.
Oh, I would love that. Thank you.
And you know, we'll get together again and do some more readings and talk on all kinds of different topics. You know, we can bring this one back up or not. I've got another show in an hour.
Okay.
And I'll be back on for the Mardi Gras party. And so if y'all aren't busy, come on back.
Yeah, and I'm honored to be on your show. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for everybody for participating. And if you're watching this now or on rebroadcast, Be sure to subscribe to my channel and Voices of the Swamp. It costs you nothing. It's completely free. You
free
can
to
subscribe, and it supports our channel.
All of Sibyl's contact information is in the description box below.
Oh, wow.
So all you have to do is look in the little box, click the links, and it's right there. And it brings you to her. You can subscribe. Click the little notification bell. That way you'll get notified whenever she puts up a video or goes up live or anything like that. It will let you know.
And your information is on your channel community page or about?
Yes, it's on my about page. It's also in the description box below. And I post that every show because you never know who's going to come in. And whatever guest I have, I always post all the information I can get of how to contact them, where to find them. And I put all of that in the description box so people can take a little time and click the different links and see what's there and go from there.
Yeah, and call the nature spirits in, work with your guides. And if you know, a nature spirit, a good guide will always give you a good feeling and a positive message. Maybe they want a little something. And if you don't go outside, you could have a plant or a cactus or bring some flowers in. Or, you know,
just ask and they will let you know.
Yeah. Okay.
You just have to ask.
All right. Take care.
I will be right here in an hour, Rose. So just watch for the notification. It'll be back on my channel for the big Mardi Gras party. And
party. You're getting ready to party over there.
That's it. We're getting ready to have a party. So y'all have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you, Sibyl, for being my guest. I appreciate it very much.
Okay, lots
You're
of love.
welcome back anytime.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody. Y'all have a good weekend.